เอาใจดิโอ้โหน่าจะตื่นตาตื่นใจเลยโอ้แล้วให้มาช่องเนี้ยไม่ล้ำด้วยโอ้โหแล้วมองแล้วไม่ล้ำแบบนี้ก็ไม่น่าจะเหลือ
Fucking hell, I am incredible. My name gonna be in lights, brand deals everywhere, the awards, the women. Sorry to interrupt, mate, just quickly, but it's been like a solid 8 seconds and you've not actually scored yet. Just put it in. Oh, I plan to. With the women, I'm gonna go down as one of the greatest footballers of all time.
แล้วแก
It was a good tackle, to be fair. No. Yo guys, it is your boy Nirin here, and you are watching FTW. This of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what has been kicking off in the world this week? Well, it's been a groundbreaking week in science as the oldest baby ever has been born. No, it wasn't one named Gary. Oh, look at him. What a lovely little... I love, do you know what time the snooker's on?
Oh, fuck this, man.
No, an embryo from all the way back in 1994 has now birthed a child. All I know is, yeah, that midwife is going to be confused when he comes out doing his tax return. He's going to arrive into the world with a bus driver's license and an adult rail card. He or she has been robbed. Could have been growing up playing prime PlayStation 2 games and now is going to grow up getting Labubu's for Christmas.
I am the owner of the world's first KSI.
Why am I black? Why is everyone black?
Oh my god.
Don't tell Serie A about this, I swear down. They'll have them up front next season. Now, on to the football, and we head up north to Newcastle, where the new meaning of Geordie Shore is residents putting themselves out of their misery and washing up on them. It's fair to say this transfer window has been tough for the men and women in black and white. In fact, those were the settings on TVs the last time they actually signed one of their transfer targets. They are one more rejection away from drawing a border around a city and joining Scotland. Now, that is real depression.
I hate myself, honestly, I'm better off dead.
Well, get that crayon out, because it's happening again. Benjamin Sesko has been long admired by Newcastle, and they put a bid in for the Bundesliga star, only for him to choose Manchester United and agree to go there instead.
Is unbelievable. That is a bad one.
Newcastle were all in for him. The problem is, he's all out for them. He stated that he wanted to go to Old Trafford instead, and now seemingly the deal is done. For Newcastle were looking up at the sky, seeing Manchester United had slapped their knobs on their forehead again. When Newcastle knock, everybody says no. We have time to talk about our Lord and Saviour, Alan Shearer. Fuck off. Let's be honest, Newcastle fans are in pure pain and agony anytime they get a new notification from the BBC Sports app, because the visualisation of them actually trying to bring players to St James's Park is pretty sad to behold at this point. Alexander Isak will be realising that he's not getting any new signings at the club for another 3 years. And speaking of Isak, he's kind of been shunned by Eddie Howe and the rest of the coaching staff whilst he tries to force a move away from the Magpies. They held a family barbecue, in essence, for the players, inviting families of the footballers themselves to a nice little lunch, but Isak wasn't in attendance. Let's be honest, neither were half of the families. I'm hearing the parents said no and went to a Manchester United barbecue instead. The Newcastle fans, look, they're trying to, deal with and cope with the scenario and maybe make themselves feel better. There's even been talk of Benjamin Sesko not being in Alexander Isak's league. Well, no, he's in the Bundesliga and Isak was in the Prem. Either way, look, I'm not gonna lie to you lads. Whilst this guy is a talent and he's a youngster who's got potential, Benjamin Sesko fender for £90 million is ludicrous behaviour.
What have we done to the world? Look what we've done.
He may have only got 12 goals in the league last season, but Red Bull Corporations Limited will be arguing that he got 12 goals more than Diego Maradona, Pele and Rasmus Højlund last season, so he must be worth the money. As for Luke Shaw, he's just frustrated at the fact that he's not getting any new meal deals and that they're not signing Benjamin Sesko, but it leaves Newcastle in a massive predicament. They're really starting to run out of striking options to actually go and sign. And at this rate, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be watching on at home on TV, finding out he's starting for game week 1 of the season.
I just get fucking drafted?
Doesn't look like he's played a lick of sports.
Dude, where the fuck did they get this? I just get fucking where did they get this video?
Now, in pre-season festivities, and Arsenal haven't even waited for the actual campaign to start before being second best, would you look at the time for their kit photo shoot? 2 p.m.
When is it gonna end?
Speaking of criminals, allegedly.
Yeah, right.
Arsenal will be facing off against Villarreal, a Villarreal side who have just signed Thomas Partey off them. I know that Olympique Marseille were primed and ready to go in for him. Meanwhile, De Zerbi is absolutely raging that he can't add him to his super squad of absolute fucking wrongins. We need to start asking some serious questions about La Liga's team of the season next campaign.
LFC, the worst people in history. It's Idi Amin in goal. In attacking midfield, it is Gary Glitter and the strike partnership of Jimmy Savile and Joseph Fritzl.
That league, yeah, Getafe, Villarreal, Real Madrid combined, they'd play Robert Mugabe at left wing if he had 85 pace on FIFA. Premier League fans were waiting for Arsenal new signing Mosquera to put himself on the map by absolutely clamping the Gunners' former man. Arsenal would then lose to Villarreal, but the true criminal performance was from them. Their ex-man Nicolas Pepe did the damage whilst being booed by Arsenal supporters. Now I'm gonna keep it $1.50. What the fuck are you even doing? Why are you booing a player who, yes, he cost you a lot of money, but that's not his fault, that's your fault, who was not very good, didn't even play there for that long, and then left under completely normal circumstances. They booed Denis Suarez. He played 6 games for Arsenal. On social media though, and it was Victor Gyokeres getting beef. He was wearing the Timberlands and all sorts of other clothing. Stoppable on his day. To be honest, right, look, I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was alright, to be honest with you. I know we affiliate Arsenal with the number 2 a lot, but I do think we have to wait for more than 2 pre-season appearances until we judge the Swede. At Anfield, and Liverpool faced off against Spanish opposition as well in the form of Athletic Club Bilbao, and more puzzlingly than that, we played them twice in one evening.
That was so nice! We had to do it twice!
I know that they're supposed to be athletic, but expecting them to play 2 90 minutes in one day seems a little bit. I just know that Darwin Núñez was confused, thinking he was playing Atletico Madrid and not seeing Griezmann. If you're a Liverpool fan, this is great news, finding out you've got to buy one, get one free on games. Both results were pretty positive for the Reds. A convincing victory, first of all, for some of the younger players, and then the first side also dispatching Athletic Club 3-2. Athletic Club's manager will have been fuming, seeing his side get defeated for a second occasion.
You're joking. Not another one?
As I mentioned, the first game saw some of the youngsters play, and they put on a clinic with a solid victory. Ben Doak scoring a great goal from a tight angle. But a real spark in this one came from 16-year-old Rio Engamoa, scoring an absolute beauty and producing a perfect knee slide after his first goal at Anfield. Yeah, get the Golden Boy Award ready for him, pal. He's doing it. A lot of people have been comparing him and Max Dowman, but honestly, lads,
people try and make comparisons of who's better, etc. Just enjoy him, man.
And either way, Max was happy for his mate over on Instagram as well. These two seemingly friends after playing at youth level together. In the stands, and one inventive Liverpool fan had decided to DIY his Alexander Arnold shirt. And it was also a final opportunity for us to see Darwin Núñez in red before heading over to Saudi Arabia. He'll be struggling to speak Arabic at Al Hilal after 2 seasons in Liverpool.
What's it? You want it? Tell me then.
Who's this coming off the bench though? What, Laffy? They've finally found him.
Laffy, listen to me, brother. Hit the park gates, lad. Slow down, lad.
Poor kid's gonna be petrified when he sees a chopper flying overhead, and I'm sure was speeding down the A road to Liverpool, getting chased down by Bilbao Ultras after the win.
Get the tunes on.
Gyokeres made an instant impact in this one. Lovely set of step overs, beating a defender and then setting up Mo Salah. He knows the offside rule, lads. We're actually in serious business. We've already upgraded from Darwin, but there's still one man who's able to provide the tomfoolery, and that's Ibrahima Konate, thinking he can do a bicycle kick. This is a tricycle kick, fam. You just put the stabilizers back on. Over at Manchester United, and they've got themselves some silverware. They won the Premier League Summer Series after a draw with Everton. Well, at least they've found their level. Ruben Amorim will be bringing up this trophy to the board when he gets called in for a conversation, and United are 17th in the league in November.
Respect.
Meanwhile, Arsenal are watching on as everyone and their nan wins some actual silverware these days. Not that that was affecting Joshua Zirkzee. He had other things to focus on, like playing Clash of Clans down on the subs bench. And as he was being tricked by microtransactions on the App Store, he missed the funniest own goal of all time. The ball pinging around off Aiden Heaven and Amad Diallo to end up in the back of the net, whilst Bruno Fernandes was having a scrap with Ilian Ndiaye, the Portuguese midfielder with a completely unnecessary swipe on the Everton attacker down on the halfway line. The Bruno Fernandes was apparently involved in a WhatsApp message leak this week. Never a sentence that inspires a huge amount of confidence, but no, don't worry, it's not him asking to see Brenda from Canteen's nudes. She got sacked by Jim Jim Ratcliffe. He hasn't sent her nudes in months. Instead, it was him in a group chat with the other rats that live at Old Trafford. I assume. No, probably. I'm joking. Things are actually kind of looking up for Manchester United, to be honest with you, in terms of the transfer dealings. You know, they brought in Cunha and Burmo, Seshko now. They're even trying to bring in Carlos Baleba from Brighton at the moment. That man's on about £15,000 a week, by the way. If they even so much as think about giving him 6 figures, he's not going into work tomorrow. One man currently at the club, but who may well be in trouble, is Rasmus Højlund. He's trying to blend into their youth academy by adopting a perfect Mancunian accent.
Not so well, nothing so far. I think the most important for me is just to keep working hard and stay focused, and then obviously we'll see what happens. I think my plan is very clear, and that is for me to stay and fight for my spot, whatever happens.
Meanwhile, Alejandro Garnacho is definitely on the way out and has been linked with Chelsea. Congrats on your move to Arsenal next season, lad. Mikel Arteta's frothing at the mouth already. I absolutely know it. Elsewhere in the Premier League Summer Series, and Newcastle faced off against Tottenham in what was a last game for Spurs for Korean legend Heung-min Son. He had a very emotional send-off as he was substituted in this one, which Spurs tweeted, "Cheers, Son's crying." He said, "Fam, I got my trophy. I'm not waiting another 11 years for the next one." Back when Heung-min Son was brought in as a youngster from Bayer Leverkusen, it was tweeted they were deciding between the Korean international and former West Brom striker Saido Berahino. Spurs quoting it and saying they definitely made the right choice. Saido Berahino must have been confused, wondering why he was brought into this when he logged onto Twitter that morning.
Why did I get picked up?
In negative news though for Spurs, and James Maddison picked up a serious ACL injury in this one and will be out for 6 to 7 months. But it was FA Cup replays that were doing all the damage. I'm wishing James a speedy recovery. Another man not too pleased clearly was Bruno Guimaraes, who just started crashing out randomly in the penalty area for Newcastle. Thomas Frankel had been crashing out at Matthijs Tel, but this horrible miss as he was clean through on goal with not a single defender in the same postcode as him. Meanwhile in the stands, and one couple, one from Newcastle and one from Spurs, were recreating that iconic Coldplay moment. And they might have done it even better actually. This is genuinely sensational acting. At Fulham now, and they are apparently going in for a move for Raheem Sterling, which is coincidentally Chelsea's biggest win of the transfer window so far. His London tour is in fact continuing after an unsuccessful spell really at Chelsea and at Arsenal. He was a QPR youngster, of course. Next stop is him on stage at Prism Kingston. I just know for facts though, Fulham fans will already be contemplating why they've given him 250 grand a week when he sat on 0 goals and 1 assist in February.
So you look, you think I'm paying all that money for you to do that?
Speaking of Chelsea though, and one man coming in is Jarell Harto from Ajax, a centre-back and left-back who honestly is class, I'm not going to lie to you. A kid who, despite his extremely young age, really kind of helped to steady a sinking ship at Ajax last season, and he becomes Chelsea's 49th transfer in 4 years. For context, 49 transfers ago for Liverpool was Nathaniel Klein. Todd Bowley can be seen in his office scheming, knowing he's about to spend £3.8 billion next season on an entirely new squad again. As for Axel Disasi, he's just trying to remind his boss that he actually still exists.
Open the door.
Birmingham faced off against Nottingham Forest and tweeted about the result, poking fun at the Morgan Gibbs White video with Nottingham Forest's owner, Mr. Marinakis. It was a good tweet, only for it to have been found shot and put down out the back of the veterinary clinic just a matter of minutes later. Nottingham Forest had him take that down, I'm telling you now. Marinakis, I'm sure, arrived in Birmingham to threaten them directly, only to see the gaff and post about it on social media. Birmingham's poor admin can be seen in the back seat seeing his pet gerbil thrown into a bonfire over this one. They definitely had him threatened, I'm not gonna lie to you. Then again, it's a threat enough to have to live in Birmingham anyway, so...
I live in a shithole! Birmingham is a fucking shithole!
And on the theme of the Blues, their documentary dropped, which kind of revolves around the story of Tom Brady, of course, former Hall of Famer and arguably one of the greatest of all time quarterbacks in the NFL. He took over the club, he's helped to bankroll them, and clearly he wasn't too happy with former manager Wayne Rooney's impact on the football club.
I'm a little worried about our head coach's work ethic.
A little too lackadaisical.
I mean, I don't know, they don't have great instincts on that.
Look, I know he wasn't great as manager, but there's no reason to body shame him. And elsewhere, clearly he was extremely rattled by a set of Peterborough United fans over on social media.
CF's the Instagram post right now is a Peterborough fan, because stick that on the documentary, lads.
Is that right?
600 likes.
Yeah, bitches, enjoy this shitty League One for the rest of your fucking life, you little bitch. Suck on that.
Fucking hell, mate. It's only Peterborough, fam. I honestly, I couldn't tell you 3 things that have ever happened in the history of Peterborough. It's really not that deep. I've not actually seen a documentary, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but every clip I've seen from it has made everybody look really unlikable. Although in fairness, one lovely gesture from the club was sitting down and having a photo with every every single member, every single worker, all 558 of them that work for Birmingham City. That's a nice touch. At Manchester City now, and Phil Foden's clearly a bit sceptical of one young City fan who keeps getting his shirt signed.
How many do you want signing, you kid? Look like that. You just put them on eBay? Nah. Could you put it like here? Yeah. Please, thank you. And just can you just sign me one more, please? Yeah, if you give me half of the dough, you get
a kid who's hustling outside, trying to get signatures of Manchester City starters, which is why really he should have gone for Erling Haaland or something instead. At Crystal Palace, and they brought one out off the training ground for a free kick here against Bundesliga side Augsburg. Why would you use a secret free kick routine in pre-season and not for a game that actually matters? At Bournemouth, and Evan Ilson brought out this absolutely horrible miss from point blank range, and his former teammate Mark Travers didn't have the greatest start to life at Everton, with this howler also in the Premier League Summer Series. Now in Spain, and Barcelona faced off against Korean side Daegu. There were 5 offsides in the first 20 minutes against the Korean side. Hansi Flick firmly doing it again. And continuing where they left off last season as well in terms of goal scoring, they've grabbed 15 goals in 3 pre-season games. It also gave an opportunity for Jesse Lingard to be reunited with Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, Sonia.
Now, there was a strange situation over on SofaScore, I think, where Real Madrid were listed to have played against a Greek amateur side called DTFC. Not only did they play against them, it was almost the most batshit mental game of all time, with 11 goals, last-minute winners, and 3 red cards in injury time. What the hell was even going on here? Safe to say it didn't actually happen. I think some Greek intern just got drunk on a night out. You gotta really wonder what actually happened and what DT even did to provoke this sort of red card reaction. Xabi Alonso concerned watching as Kylian Mbappe, Vinny Jr. and Jude Bellingham conceded 6 to window cleaners from Athens. What a prat! Real Madrid are also teasing their kits for the new season, one of which, their third kit, has 90 minutes is a long time written on it. They are literally commemorating a remontada that did not even occur. An attempted comeback, you know. This is utter woke nonsense, or whatever it is in Spanish. Sevilla faced off against Marseille and were firmly unimpressed by the players they were up against. First of all, saying that when Neil Maupay doesn't score, they smile. Provoking a man like this on social media is like provoking Batman in a dark alley. To be fair, bro scores once every 4 months, so you get to smile quite a lot. They also tweeted that Mason Greenwood cut in for a strike before lamping it miles wide. Good. Don't want him hitting back though, trust me. I'm glad they're going at the shit people, like at that football club, because I don't know what's going on at Marseille, but it is very weird. A little bit harsh on Maupay. He's not actually a criminal, by the way, but in Portugal, and Porto pulled off the unthinkable. A surprise signing in the form of Dutch striker Luuk de Jong. Surprise signings that haven't been plastered all over social media for 3 weeks in 2025. I must be dreaming. Someone get the purple dildo out again. We're back in the good old days. The biggest mysteries in life, Area 51, that Malaysian airline, and now Porto pulling this one out without a there we land. Under the mysterious Egyptian pyramids is Luuk de Jong's agent, and under the Instagram post for this one was Fabrizio Romano crashing out, giving it large to repliers because he didn't predict that Luuk de Jong was signing for Porto. Honestly, it's not even that deep of a transfer. In Italy, there were crazy scenes between FC Como and Real Betis. Some fiery challenges had been flying in during the course of this game, ultimately ending in an all-round scrap. Punches being thrown and landed here. This wasn't just a shoving match, this was all-out UFC. One Betis player coming and smacking his own teammate by accident. This wasn't an accident, by the way. He's just wanted an excuse to smack him up. And that's for not playing me in a way against the Garnet. Elsewhere in Italy, and AC Milan demolished Perth Glory 9-0. You've just got to remove the glory at that point. It's just Perth. It's the place. Juan Cuadrado is going to be on the move again this summer. And after playing for Inter and then moving to Atalanta, he signs for another club in black and blue stripes in the form of Pisa. This man just doesn't want to do any extra washing, let's be real. In France, and Roberto De Zerbi was in the news once again after a video emerged of his clash with a former player.
Reduce the touches! Reduce the touches! Vai, fora nossa, vai fora nossa, vai, hey, don't do shit. Call your agent to come here. Call your agent to come here. Go inside.
Now, Kone here ended up leaving, like literally days after this happened. This was filmed in January. Fam, you're playing guys that have got serious accusations over their heads. Guys that have actually been found guilty of stuff, but taking a little bit too long for a pass is where you draw the line. Another man heading to Marseille is Timothy Weah. Lawyers, just get ready. You're about to get a call from him for something that happened at some point. A big move for him. His dad, George, must be proud. And this is really a signing that Junior is replicating, because George Weah, of course, signed for Marseille back in the day, and Timothy even recreated the magazine cover that his dad, George, was given when he made the move in the 90s. Meanwhile, in Germany, and shout out to the Bundesliga's Theyve, one of the more interesting leagues in world football. It seems to have an abundance of massive football clubs in there. Easily the most well-supported second division in world football, I would say. And that was shown once again with a 62,000 attendance between Schalke and Hertha Berlin on the opening day. Absolutely mental. Now though, time for your goals of the week, and this is unprecedented stuff. I have got 5 of them for you.
I'm finding it hard to talk. Honest to God, I just can't sum up how good I feel at the moment. I'm just on top of the world.
This has been a crazy week of goal scoring, and it starts off at Leicester, where Abdul Fattawu received the ball in his own half, bouncing around and flicked it over his own head and the defender. A beautiful piece of skill before using his pace and his dribbling ability to get himself away from Fiorentina defenders, check back onto his left foot, and then curl one into the top corner. A lovely solo goal. A very different goal now comes from Mexico and from Paulinho of Toluca, who sees the ball flying into the area and brings out an unorthodox bicycle kick to fire it back into the top corner. There was quick thinking needed in Russia as well from Alexei Batrakov, who with a silky glue-like first touch traps the ball and then fires it into the top corner. There was an absolute screamer over in Australia as Rosebud goalkeeper Colin McCormack fancied taking a free kick from range. She's absolutely battered it into the top left corner. But the final goal is honestly one of the sweetest strikes I think I've actually ever seen, where a diagonal has been pinged long and has been met with a crazy technique side foot volley from Pedro de la Vega back into the far corner. A bonkers and very unique goal. Hello all and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Слева, там уже открывается Шишкин, он вот такую гораздо более интересную передачу. Что произошло?
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Over in Brazil, and there's good news for Neymar, finally. He's back scoring for Santos. He grabbed a brace for the Brazilian side as they attempt to stay in the top flight. Not gonna lie though, the trim needs a little looking at. Sister. Nah, no, genuinely for real. Like, he's low-key rolling back the years on this one a little bit, and I love that. I've always been a massive fan of Neymar. I know it might sound like I'm not based on the FTW activities, but he is one of the most entertaining and fun footballers that the world has ever seen, and at least he's enjoying his football once again. Neymar did a lot for the men's Brazilian side, but the women's side are breaking records too, winning a 5th Women's Copa America in a row. Absolute icon and legend of the women's game, Marta, at probably the age of 65, scored an absolute banger in this one as well, in a 4-4 draw that went to penalties and ended in a Brazil win. One of their players, Dudunya, decided to make a TikTok taking the piss out of Colombia players being depressed. Yeah, it's a Shihausery award. I know they've got a rivalry there, but that's crazy. Cristiano Ronaldo was feeling nice and wholesome, getting a birthday cake for Al Nassr's chef this week. Suing after every slice to burn off the calories seemed like a bit of an excessive way to enjoy the cake itself, but Lithuanian sides Gyokeres have had enough of their current manager. They want him out, and they hatched a plan to get him on a plane out of there. No, quite literally to get him on a plane out of there. They all took suitcases and threw them from the stands onto the pitch to interrupt the game. At PSV, Ivan Perisic was doing whatever it took to put a ball into the area, including crashing through a photographer's MacBook. You don't need Face ID on that, mate, actually, to be honest with you. In Russia, and this penalty shootout in the final 64 of the Russian Cup took an incredible twist when one player struck it, thundered the ball off the top of the crossbar, the goalkeeper celebrating only for the ball to land somehow through backspin in the back of the net anyway. I'd forfeit the shootout there and then. You know when it's just not your day, to be honest with you. I think there might need to be a penalty over in Malaysia after this straight punch to the jaw in the penalty area. Dutch Not Breda fans were bringing the atmosphere at Norwich's Carrow Road. Meanwhile, there was a great atmosphere for Vermont over in America. They brought this tifo, welcoming their opponents to the Bernie Bayou. A tip of the hat to Bernie Sanders, who is a Vermont native. They were rewarded as Max Kissel won them the US League 2 crown with a late goal. The same man who scored a late golden goal to secure them the NCAA championships as well. Their title celebrations were absolutely incredible. They won via an invincible season as well. And it really promotes the fact that American football, no, not American football, soccer over there, needs relegation and promotion because these guys deserve to be playing in a league higher next season. There was absolute chaos, meanwhile, in Libya, as one panicked back pass resulted in one of the worst own goals that you're going to see this season, and it's only just started. And just minutes after that, two players invited each other to go and have a massive brawl by the sidelines. That was then joined in by pretty much everybody on opposing sides in what was a derby match. Speaking of violence, but at least finding a resolution, Richard Rios and Nicolas Otamendi clashed when they faced off against each other for Colombia and Argentina respectively on international duty. Benfica then decided to sign Richard Rios, and now they're winning trophies together at the back. Meanwhile, a shout out to Victor Osimhen, who took the time whilst being mobbed by Galatasaray fans to sit and get pictures and have a conversation with disabled supporters in Turkey. We love to see that. Closer to home, and West Ham are targeting a new goalkeeper in the form of Victor John. He probably fits the bill for a West Ham goalkeeper because he made this absolute clanger, just deciding to try and chuck the ball at an opponent and in the end giving it away to concede just seconds later. At Bolton, and one fan is taking the piss out of their new sleeve sponsor by bringing a horny Strawberry 69 shirt to one of their pre-season games. The only way you're going to get horny for a Wrexham shirt this year is if you're a bus spotter, because this away kit looks like it could go on one of the seats. Barnet's goalkeeper won't want to look back on his first taste of EFL football with the club very fondly. The newly promoted side, yeah, their shot stopper just a loose touch and it's 1-0 immediately. Down at Bromley, and they were asking for a referee over the PA system, quoting that football is well and truly back. Meanwhile, it's a sad state of affairs for Morecambe. Morecambe, whose supporters have been going through the mill over the last year, over a longer period than that. Basically, they're owned by a guy called Jason Whittingham, who's been repeatedly and consistently putting off takeover deals that would save the football club. For seemingly no reason whatsoever, he's been keeping the club and the residents of the seaside town at ransom. I assume because he thinks he can get more money for it than is being offered. He'd originally agreed a deal with new investors, only for those new investors to be sideswiped completely by him just announcing that he's pulling out of the deal. It is an absolute shambles, and very soon the club will cease to exist. They've got about 2 weeks at this stage to get new owners through the door so they can at least compete for part of the National League season. They're going to miss the first 3 games of the campaign at the very least, but there is still a little bit of time to save them from dying out completely. Shout out to Bury, a football club who's gone through a very similar situation in the last 5 years. They said that Morecambe fans are welcome at their stadium for free. Overall, fuck Jason Whittingham and fuck owners that don't care about the area that they buy a club in. This isn't Chelsea, okay? You can't just afford to just go and splurge $1 billion on random players and know your club's going to be okay tomorrow. These are small football clubs that are the heart of their communities and that keep people going in some instances through difficult day-to-day lives. You have to actually show them the respect that they deserve. Over in Scandinavia, and we saw the Øresund Bridge Derby, the shortest away day in Champions League history, just 28 kilometers between Swedish side Malmo and Danes Copenhagen. Things were getting a bit depressing for friends of the channel that paid Linnemiskon. I'm not gonna lie, I've never known how to pronounce this name. They follow me on Twitter, tweet me with a pronunciation, I beg, and I'll apologize in the next one. But our Estonian friends, they're going through it after their European exit. In Canada, and one Premier League mascot, Stewie the Starfish, lashed in a penalty. Mate, get him playing actually in the league. Now, we've had little miniature cars bringing out footballs at the Euros and at the World Cup in the past. Have you ever seen a bomb disposal unit do it? No? Well, that's what's going on in Ukraine. An absolutely mental match took place in Sweden between Brommapojkarna and Norrköping. It saw Brommapojkarna win 6-4, and perhaps the most cynical yellow card of all time in injury time. Holywell were facing off against Flint this week. They won the game 2-1 and have a goalkeeper called Flint, so decided to use him and his number for the scoreline. Top marks for creativity. Meanwhile, we got lettuce kick-ups elsewhere. Listen, they don't call a Mohammed salad for no reason. In Croatia, and physios in the nation have found a novel way of fixing Dominik Kovacic here's broken nose. And over at Gornal Athletic, we've got a new substitution. Short Johnson. Yeah, there was no need to attack me like that. I'm just reading out the news, bro. You didn't have to come up my dick like... Now though, it is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football, and this week's foolishness is firmly accidental. We've got a team here in yellow looking to progress the ball forward. They're passing it around, making an incisive ball in between the lines, only for a defender in red to intercept it and clamp the ball forward, but he's clamped it so hard that he's accidentally sent it over the goalkeeper, scoring on the half volley from his own half and probably grabbing his team's goal of the season by accident. Look, sometimes you've just got to put your foot through it. That's the moral of the story. On to the weird stuff though now. There's a crazy story that's developed over in South Korea. Ulsan HD, they're bored, they're not happy with their manager in charge. I mean, it's no real surprise, right? They're one of the biggest sides in Korean football, and yet they currently sit 7th in the league, 26 points away from the top of the table, and are in awful form. That, however, is not enough in terms of grounds to get sacked, according to their own manager. Kim Pan-gon here has refused to be sacked. I don't think that's how it works, to be honest with you, boss man. Insisting that there is no reason for him to go. Ironically, he's Kim Pan gone nowhere, because listen. But finally, we head over to Denmark. And recently, we've had plenty of weird Man of the Match awards that have been documented in FTW. Even, very recently, literally last week, in Norway, Erling Haaland's former side, Bryn, were handing out oatmeal and milk to their best footballer on the pitch. Well, I don't know what's going on in Scandinavia the North Europe region, because Sonderiski in Denmark are giving away 55 kilograms of potatoes if you are man of the match. Look, I'm all for making the award useful, yeah, but 55 kilograms. How much mashed potato does a man actually need? That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.